Good morning, everybody. Rohan first is passed out as a chartered accountant and is also a qualified lawyer from University of Mumbai. He runs two organizations, which is Nandi Insurance Broking and also Magus Advisors. He has over 17 years of experience in the fields of insurance claims, litigation, finance, taxation, and law. I would now request Rohan first to start with the presentation this morning. Thank you very much.
Good morning to you all. As usual, the introductions have been far more complimentary than either of us deserve. But every time that we take some time to come out and give lectures or talk about insurance, the introductions normally include the word tricky, problems, stuff like that. And we started feeling that, it's becoming more and more necessary for people to realize that insurance is nothing but common sense. The problem is that common sense also requires us to apply our minds a little. Unfortunately, most of the time, because of the kind of work we do, we find that people have come to us at a stage where they are confronted with a problem and they suddenly realize that they have not really covered themselves adequately for whatever reasons. So during all our awareness seminars and various things, we try to bring to the table all the experience that we've had in the past in managing claims of clients and in trying to help them ensure that they don't repeat the mistakes that they've made and that other people understand that such mistakes should be avoided. So when I was approached by Moneylife to give a lecture on this subject, I thought that we should title this subject Live Healthy and Die Wealthy. It's a dream for all of us. The problem is that when we talk about live healthy and die wealthy, we restrict our thinking to how we should earn more and possibly spend and give a little time to investment, possibly in the stock markets. Fine, tomorrow we've not made money, and we don't really give any time to insurance, not realizing that eventually insurance is the only manner of ensuring that we are looked after in adverse times. So let's move on with the subject. For introducing this subject, I thought I would take you through a small story that is common to all of us. So let's begin this topic. As I said, this is a story. It's an Indian story. It's a story about all of us. All of us during our time, we are always running against the clock. We have very little time for ourselves. So what we end up doing is spend most of our time in trying to earn, spend a little of our time in investing, and spend very little time in planning our insurance needs. And therein lies the story of this entire problem. We have absolutely no time to read the fine print. Obviously, Indians are fatalistic. They believe in a lot of things. They believe in good and bad, and they all feel that, why do we need insurance? Insurance is required if there are problems, and bad things don't happen to good people. But unfortunately, they do. And that is the time when the problem starts. What normally happens, I open my policy, I find that the policy has some problems, I thought I was covered, I thought I had issues, and now I find that I'm not getting my claim. And then we all get into what now they call the Kolavari. Everyone has a murderous rage, they rant at the insurers, they rant at the government, and we are left with nothing. Therefore, my point is basically it's time for all of us to change at all levels. Therefore, let's make an effort to live healthy and die wealthy. Let's therefore now take you through the nuances of a medical policy. What does a medical policy involve? I am looking at it more from the concepts that are involved in taking a medical insurance and in ensuring that you get your claims. I am not really getting into product-specific information because that is something that is more of a selling issue. Okay, now what is the actual story about India? The actual story about India is that India is a country where health care is very poor. Less than 15% of people in India have some form of health insurance coverage. Most of them don't have Mediclaim coverage. Some of them are covered now with governmental schemes like the Rashtriya Swasth Bima Yojana, etc. But the shocking statistics for everyone here is that more than 40% of the people have to borrow money to be able to meet hospitalization costs. Now, this is something that can be avoided at all levels, simply because insurance really doesn't cost so much that we cannot spend on it. Okay, so one more thing is that if you look at the fourth statistic, Medical care is one of the three main causes of impoverishment in the country. People, if they are found to be in a medical situation, normally end up spending far more than they can afford, and obviously more than their policies cover them for. What do the IRDA statistics say about claims? Normally the claims, IRDA provides claim statistics regularly. It tells you about the kind of disorders that are normally seen. It also tells you about the kind of length of stay and the kind of hospitalization expenses incurred. And here we see that normally the stays are for a day for eye-related disorders and infections and digestion disorders. This comes through in most of the claims we get. It comes through in the group claims we get. So this is the statistics that can be corroborated by us at our end also. Other claims are due to infectious ailments and also high costing ailments relating to circulation. Obviously heart disease and diabetes add to the whole problem. But the truth of the matter is that Mediclaim itself is ailing. Let us understand that Mediclaim again is a product that an insurance company sells, where eventually they will also look at profitability in terms of what they have earned as premium and what claims are being paid. And unfortunately, the truth in this country is that Mediclaim right now is facing a problem in terms of profitability. I've just taken out some statistics which have been published recently. You will find in the statistic that I have put in the claim ratios of most of the top companies. If you look at the claim ratios, you will see that largely most of the companies have claim ratios nearing or exceeding 100%. Effectively, every rupee of premium that they are earning, they are spending far more than that on actually paying claims. So it's a problem situation for them. What is the actual situation? Premiums are growing. India is supposed to be a country where health insurance is the industry of the future. You have a lot of standalone companies coming in and now looking at offering insurance. Fact of the matter is simply this. Premiums have grown from 2003-04 from 944 crores to nearly 7,500 crores, 7,800 crores. But in the same period, the claim ratio has gone up from 83% to 96%. Effectively, increasing claims are happening, and increasing business means increasing losses. Now, therefore, what is it necessary that we all do? Every person who buys an insurance policy, therefore, needs to ensure that he understands the reasons and the principles behind buying a policy. So, as everyone would know, or possibly a lot of people have not really applied their mind to it, first and foremost, an insurance policy is not a regular product. It's not like a mutual fund product where you've bought it and then you've just put it away in your safe. Insurance policy is a pure contract where you actually need to understand the principles that go behind the contract. When we talk about a proposal form for you becomes the key document that you need to look at when you are making an application for insurance. Therefore, the entire principle of insurance is based on how the proposal has been filled in by you. There are numerous Supreme Court and National Commission judgments which talk on this point, and therefore it's very important that you understand this. When you make a proposal to the insurer, the facts that you fill in the proposal tell the insurer whether he is comfortable with accepting your proposal to insure you. If you don't fill in the right facts, obviously the insurer is misled into believing that he can insure you because you are a good risk, and then the issue that comes in is tomorrow when there's a claim and information comes out which is contrary to what you filled in, then insurance companies start rejecting claims. So what are the key principles that follow the insurance contract? The key principles are the principle of uberame fide, caveat emptor, and contra profundum. When we talk about uberame fide, obviously it means the principle of utmost good faith. Every insurer is not, most of the Mediclaim policies up to a particular age at least do not require you to get any kind of medical done. So if you are going to only make a self-declaration, it is of utmost importance that every person fills in that proposal form correctly and with the right information and answers the key questions correctly. Normally, most of these forms will have some questions regarding your health or your habits. We very, very often find that those questions are either kept blank or they are answered insufficiently. Because of this, tomorrow when the claim comes, believe me, the first thing that will come up is the declaration you made there. So therefore, you have to understand that the entire principle here is the principle of uberame fide. What would caveat emptor mean? Obviously, for everyone who's a consumer, we understand that caveat emptor basically means that buyer beware. You are buying a product which has certain riders attached to it. If you feel that by buying a product you've taken a solution for every problem you have, then you are wrong. So it is important that you be aware of what you are taking. However, the only thing that has helped consumers in the past is the principle of contra pro frentem. Basically, this principle means that any policy that is worded by an insurer must be read in favor of the insured in case of any doubt on the interpretation of the wordings. The simple logic being that when a policy is drafted by one person, it must be read or understood that that person knows exactly what he is saying, and any doubt in interpretation has to go in favor of the person who has not drafted the policy. Okay, so we come to the question of the fact that eventually it is the duty of all of us to declare all material facts. So question then arises, what are material facts? Material facts now have been very clearly outlined in various court judgments, including judgments in the Supreme Court. It has come in all kinds of texts, but I thought I should repeat it here again because this is something that most of us don't realize. A material fact is every circumstance is material which would influence the judgment of a prudent insurer in fixing the premium or determining whether he will take the risk. This is a very, very fundamental principle. This is something that I would request. However droll it may seem to you, please do take time to understand this. A question about do you smoke, if you leave it blank, believe me, it is going to come back and bite you if you have a claim tomorrow. So it's something that you need to be very clear about. So okay, let us now look at what are material facts and what are not material facts. Every fact that is relevant to an insurance policy can be broken up into two parts. It could be a fact which is necessarily you have to disclose, or a fact that you need not disclose, but because it is assumed that your insurer would know about it. So what are those facts which must be disclosed? You must always disclose all facts, whether in a life insurance cover or in a Mediclaim cover, which are relevant to the insurer's judgment of your risk. If you do not declare in questions asked about your last 4 years health history, if you do not say you've got an existing illness, if you don't make declarations about previous situations, you will have a issue later on, that is clear. Okay? Details about increased risk. Now normally details about increased risk are more relevant in other insurance policies. Mediclaim, once you take a policy or life policy once taken, subject to certain provisions, should largely be okay for you to handle, and obviously all relevant facts. What are the facts you need not disclose? Now obviously when you talk about insurance being an offer and acceptance, the insurer is also understood to be in a position of some knowledge. He is also assumed to have certain understanding about the situation. So facts which are of law, facts which are of common knowledge, need not be disclosed because they are not really influencing his decision to cover your risk. Factors which reduce the risk. For example, if you have a better than required profile, is not something that is required to be done. Facts which are covered by policy conditions. Now here I would try to bring to your notice, it becomes important as to what are the policy conditions, because again understand one thing, I don't know if you all read it recently, there was an article in one of the newspapers which talked about the fact that there is no one policy fits all. There are different policies offering different covers. So it could happen that certain policies offer certain covers which are not there in others. For example, recently you have some insurers who are offering pregnancy covers after 2 years. Some insurers are not offering pregnancy covers ab initio. So you have to be careful on what you're actually opting for. So now let's go to the key question. What are the do's and don'ts of taking a policy? Now, largely whatever we are talking about here applies to both health and life, because the principles of law, the principles of insurance are common, and we will take out points of differentiation between the two as we move along the presentation. So what are the do's and don'ts? The first and most important do for a Mediclaim policy is choose your insurers carefully, choose your intermediaries carefully. When I say this, I again repeat to all of you, please understand one thing, we are not talking about investments, we are talking about insurance. Insurance is not a fill it, shut it, forget it kind of situation. It is a situation which requires that you know what you are getting into, because It is better to spend 15 minutes looking at the policy when you receive it first, than spending 15 days reading the policy after a claim has come. Believe me, it doesn't help at all. So my question here is that you need to be very careful as to which insurer you are looking at, what is his background, how is he actually doing the insurance, and also be careful that you have the help required in case of a claim. Understand slowly more and more as we are going through Mediclaim. Mediclaim is maturing as an industry in the country because of the mounting losses and the premiums not being in a match with that. More and more fine print is coming into the play, and more insurers are reducing their claims based on a lot of fine print. So be very careful about how it's being done. So you have a lot of these discussions in the papers about network hospitals, non-network hospitals, what is covered, and you'll see practically every second or third day nowadays you have a consumer court judgment which is coming, which tries to redefine how these things have to be interpreted. The next important thing is choose adequate covers. When I say choose adequate covers, I mean that you must actually look at the covers that you've taken commensurate to A, the age group that you are in, B, the kind of family size that you've got, C, the city which you are living in. Why I say this is very critical. See, what you need to understand is, as time goes on, more and more insurers have started adding caps to a policy based on the sum insured. So if you've taken a sum insured which is slightly low, it could very well happen that your insurance policy would be compromised in spite of taking a decent cover. Very often we find that you have a policy for say 2 lakh sum insured. You get admitted to a hospital room which is for 3,000 rupees a day, and the insurer says that you are allowed only 1% of the sum insured for your room rent, so straight away 1,000 rupees a day is knocked off. Not just that, some of the policies, be careful, also have wordings which try to prorate your claim in the ratio of this. So for example, if you've taken a cover for only 2 lakh rupees and your room rent is 3,000 rupees a day, which means you are entitled only 2,000 rupees a day in your policy, your claim will be settled only on 2/3 basis. So you already lost 1/3 just because you opted for a smaller sum insured. So my point here is be very careful on this ground. Be also careful on the fact that if you don't take the right covers, you will have multiple problems which come in later on, because the larger the cover, the more the benefits the insurers have started offering nowadays. Okay, next important thing which I again make it a point to repeat everywhere that we go. Most of us or a lot of people are covered, especially when they are younger, by the companies that they work in under a group Mediclaim cover. Now, the group Mediclaim cover is a blanket cover which creates a false sense of security within us. A lot of us feel that since my company is taking care of me, it's not a worry at all. Why should I take insurance? They've already taken cover for me. Now, the facts are this. The facts are that the group Mediclaim policies are the policies that are bleeding the most. We are finding year on year that the companies are slowly and surely chopping away covers, reducing the coverage offered to the employees, taking out dependent parents, and making the same, because ultimately for them it's a cost control measure at some level. Also understand that this is not just a phenomenon in India, it is a phenomenon all over the world. In fact, I was reading the other day, in the US apparently most of the people are covered largely under group covers, but the group cover situation has gone to a point where insurers have started putting in clauses where up to 35% of the claim may have to be covered by the employee themselves. So again you are left. The point I'm trying to make here is, whether or not your company covers you, it is irrelevant. Please cover yourself always. You are never sure whether your next employer is going to give you the same benefits you had previously. And the biggest thing which I tell my clients is, please understand that your parents become uninsurable after a particular age. If they are uninsurable at that age and your company suddenly takes a decision to stop covering dependent parents, you have left them out in the cold. This is something that you must avoid. You are still at an age where you can take a cover with your parents included. Please do it now. Okay? Next is take other health related covers. See, very often what we feel is that taking a Mediclaim policy itself is sufficient, because you feel that a Mediclaim policy takes care of all contingencies. Unfortunately, there are various reasons why a Mediclaim policy can never pay you 100% of what you actually claimed. So we always advise clients take multiple covers. There are other health-related covers such as critical illness covers. There are covers on hospitalization benefits which you must normally add to your covers. Okay, now what are the critical don'ts? This is something that we have culled based on the different claim situations we've handled over the client experiences we've had, and our don'ts simply are: do not choose insurance based only on the price point. I am not saying price is not important, it is important. But insurance is not a product where the cheapest product is the best. Please always understand that there is always a cost-benefit ratio. You must be clear what you are going into. So selection of products on the basis of price is a complete no-no. Please avoid it. The next and the critical point is the proposal forms. We have seen very often that most of the time our clients have come to us where their previous intermediaries or whoever has helped them out has not really paid attention to the proposal form. They've either signed at the end after the form has been filled in, or they've not, bothered about it. Do not do that. Keep the signed proposal form with you and make sure that you read the proposal form. Okay, the next thing that is critical in a Mediclaim policy is, it is a little difficult, it is a little boring, but please take the effort of reading the policy document once you receive it. It is an action which may take 15 minutes, but it's required. Very often you have to understand that insurance companies are also run by people like us. They will make mistakes. There would be issues where your names have not come in properly, where there's something which has been entered wrongly. If you don't take the time out to see it, then don't ever take the time out when a claim happens, because it's not going to help you. Okay, do not forget to read the policy covers. I will take you through why I explain to everyone the need to go through policy covers. Please understand that you have right now around 24 insurers in this country. Most of them have different policy wordings for the same things. So if I talk about preliminary pre-existing expenditure or pre-existing ailments, a pre-existing ailment may be different under one insurer's policy, it may be different on another insurer's policy, and you will be left again in the lurch. So be careful on this. And please, please, please keep a copy of the proposal form. The proposal form must always be kept by you safely. This is the document that you are going to need in case of a claim subsequently.